We take you now to Cairo and the Café Tambourine for a world of adventure with Rocky Jordan. When I was a kid, nothing upset me as much as being accused of something I didn't do and having to take the punishment for it. Say, a little pants warming. Well, you can forget that after a while, but who can forget the real hot seat? This guy accused me of murder. The Café Tambourine, crowded with tourists, camel drivers, women, cheats, forgotten men down on their luck, the lonely and the lost. For this is Cairo, gateway to the ancient East, where modern adventure and intrigue unfold against a backdrop of antiquity. Tonight's Rocky Jordan story, The Loomis Affair. It was 5 after 11 when I walked into the Cairo Bank of Egypt and stepped up to the safety deposit box window.
Good morning, sir. Could I help you?
I'd like to get into my safety deposit box.
Of course. You fill out this slip, please.
A moment later, I'd given her my key. She had taken hers, and we stepped into the vault. Then she handed me my box.
Booth 1 is empty, sir.
Thank you.
I'll be out here when you finish.
I stepped into booth 1, shut the door behind me. Then I opened my box. I'd come to check some insurance papers. It didn't take me long to find out what I'd come for. A few minutes later, I closed my box and was just getting ready to step out of the booth when something stopped me. I listened. It sounded like a low cry of pain, maybe, or like a cough that got caught in the throat. But whatever it was sounded unnatural. I listened again. All I heard was assorted sounds of the bank, and soon all the sounds confused me, and I wasn't sure whether I'd heard what I thought I had at all. I listened some more, then gave it up as a trick of my imagination. I turned my safety deposit box over to the girl. She put it away, and I left the bank to go about my business. An hour later, I walked through the front door of my Café Tambourine. Sergeant Greco of the Cairo police was there, wearing his usual nasty look, and he wasted no time.
Mr. Jordan, you are to accompany me to the police station.
Yeah, what for?
The Captain Sabaya will tell you when he wishes.
Sorry, Greco, I got a lot of work to do.
Perhaps I did not make myself sufficiently clear. You are under arrest.
Arrest?
I would like nothing better than a show of resistance. You part, Mr. Jordan.
You know, evolution got mixed up with you, Greco. You should have come out with a white stripe down your back. Come on. Ten minutes later, we walked into the office of Captain Sam Sabaya. Sam was sitting behind his desk, looking real grim. But he wasn't alone. Sitting there, too, was the girl from the bank. Same one who had given me my safety deposit box. What's this all about, Sam?
Sit down, Jordan.
I haven't got time to sit down. I got a lot to do. I walk into the tambourine and this throwback to a weasel...
Sit down, Jordan. You shall learn what this is about in due time. That is all, Sergeant Greco.
Yes, Capitan.
Now, Miss Farner, look at this man. Is he the one?
Yes. He came into the bank this morning, and I let him into the safety deposit vault.
At what time?
A few minutes past 11, Captain. The exact time is recorded on the slip of paper that he filled out.
Tell me what happened after you gave him his safety deposit box.
Well, booth 1 was empty, and I told him he could use that one. He went into it and shut the door. A few minutes later, I saw him standing outside the booth. He handed me the box and left hurriedly. And then, some minutes later, we discovered what had happened.
Thank you, Miss Farmer. That will be all.
Yes, Captain.
Jordan, you of course know of a man named Frank Loomis.
Yeah, I know him all right.
I might even say that you once had a rather intense conflict with him, and not so long ago at that.
I threw him out of my cafe, if that's what you mean. Loomis is a bum, you know that. He's taken a page out of the book of those old Chicago gangsters trying to set up a protection racket. Tried it on me, and I threw him out.
You, too, Jordan, appear to have taken a page out of the book of the Chicago gangsters you talk about. Frank Loomis was knifed to death in booth number 2 of the Cairo Bank of Egypt at approximately 11 o'clock. And you, Jordan, appear to be the one who killed him.
Now, wait a minute, Sam.
I have examined the evidence, Jordan. There is no question that you were in conflict with Loomis. There is no question that you were in the booth next to him at the approximate time he was killed.
There are other booths. Someone else could have been on the other side of him.
Booth 3 was empty. It is true that booth 4, 5, 6 were occupied and those people were questioned. A matter of course.
Hey, that list of names on your desk. Those are names of the people?
Do not look to them for hope, Jordan. The evidence against you is too strong.
Just what have you got, Sam?
Let me explain first, Jordan, that Loomis's safety box was in the booth with him. It contained a packet of $5,000 in American money. Obviously, the motive for killing Loomis could not have been robbery, or the money would have been stolen.
So far, that means nothing.
The medical report shows that the knife severed a bone. It would require a person of strength to kill Loomis with a knife, as he was killed.
Well, there are a lot of weightlifters in town.
The inkwell in Loomis's booth had spilled, and Loomis, before he died, spelled out your name with his finger.
You're serious, aren't you?
There are some further things I wish to investigate. Just do not make any plans to leave Cairo. That is all for now.
Well, Sam wasn't kidding, that was for sure. I felt like the tide was moving in because I knew what it meant to have Sam against you. Well, I walked to the corner, hailed a cab, and climbed in the back seat. Then I pulled a slip of paper out of my pocket, the one Sam had on his desk. It listed the names and addresses of the other 3 people who were in the bank booths at the time Loomis was knifed. I figured the killer had to be one of those. Name 1 was B. Mulak, 178 Sharia Ephraim Pasha. B. Mulak turned out to be a she pushing the century mark. She met me at the door with a crooked cane in one hand and an ivory-handled earphone in the other.
What is it you ask?
I said, do you know a man named Loomis?
Who is?
Loomis. L-O-O... At 11 o'clock this morning, you went to the Cairo Bank.
If you say so, Effendi.
You got your safety deposit box.
If you say so, Effendi.
You went into number 4 booth.
Oh, fine tooth. Indeed it is, Effendi. It is the last one I have got.
Oh, let it go. You don't know anything about a Loomis.
Loomis?
Sorry, I must have the wrong place. Name 2 on the list was Nicholas Markidian, a high dignitary in the Greek Orthodox Church, and that turned out to be blind alley number 2. The last name on the list was Joseph Diato, address 17 Sharia El Moor. My cab pulled to a stop in front of his place late in the afternoon. I ran up the walk, rapped on the door. No answer, so I tried again.
Read it.
I'm looking for Joe Diato.
He isn't here.
I'll speak to whoever is.
It'll be a one-way conversation. Nobody's here.
Open it up with that door. Be looking for hinges.
You're a smart guy.
Gets results.
All right, you're in. What do you want?
You Joe Diato?
Depends.
I think you are. Those suitcases over there say you're going on a trip.
That's my business.
I'm making it mine. You know a guy named Frank Loomis?
I've heard of him.
He was knifed to death in one of the booths at the Cairo Bank this morning at 11.
My condolences to Mrs. Loomis.
You were in one of those booths at the bank around the same time Loomis was killed.
Was I?
Bank time record says so.
You a cop?
No, but the police will be here soon.
Too late. I'll be gone.
You look too good. I don't think I can let you go.
I don't think you can stop me. Want to try?
Joe Diato's hand slipped down into his pocket, and I had the feeling he was wrapping it around a gun. Then he just stood there waiting for me to come forward. I figured there was no percentage in it, so I pivoted and walked out of the place, hoping to make him think I'd given it up. I got into my cab and had the cabbie pull to a stop around the corner. I didn't have to wait long. A few moments later, another cab went by, Diato in the back seat. So I tagged him. He ended up at the Cairo airport, and I saw him disappear into the crowd. I started out after him, and I heard the PA speak.
For Athens, Rome, Geneva, and Paris. Now loading. Gate 2.
That was it, Diato's plane. I had to move faster. I pushed my way toward Gate 2, but I never made it. A heavy hand grabbed my arm and spun me around.
Oh, Mr. Jordan, I find you here at the airport.
Get your hand off me, Greco. You get my sleeve wet.
You, Mr. Jordan, are in no position to tell me what to do. I find you at the Cairo airport preparing to take flight from the city.
plane. Hey, wait a minute. You got this wrong.
I have not got it wrong, Mr. Jordan. You were told by the Captain Sabaya not to leave the city. Yet I find you at the airport preparing to board that plane for another country. But what other action were we to expect from a murderer?
Joe Diato's getting on that plane. He's the one that's skipping. He's Loomis's murderer.
Fabrication, Mr. Jordan? I'm afraid you will not be able to talk your way out of this.
Oh, your head gets fatter all the time, Greco. I tell you, Diato's getting on that plane.
We have positive proof of your guilt in the Loomis affair, and we are sure of your motive. Remember the packet of $5,000 in American money found in Mr. Loomis' safe deposit box?
Sure.
We have now found a packet of $15,000 in American money with Frank Loomis' stamp on it. Loomis money, stolen from his safety deposit box. And you know where we found the $15,000? In your safety deposit box. What? There is no question about it. You killed Loomis and robbed him.
Do one thing for me, Greco. Stop that plane, get Diato off it, and question him before it's too late.
Well, it appears we are too late to take Mr. Diato off that plane. But it doesn't seem to matter much, does it? We have our man anyway. Come along, Mr. Jordan.
Well, I was sitting in the neatest frame since Whistler's mother. Loomis was dead, and as far as the police were concerned, I was it. I was in the bank booths at the time Loomis was knifed. He wrote my name on the blotter before he died. His money turned up in my safety deposit box. And to top it off, Joe Diato, the guy Sam should have had in my place, was winging his way out of the country. I began to feel real trapped. Greco nudged me toward where his car was parked. He figured he was going to get himself a medal taking me in.
He shall ride in my car, Mr. Jordan.
Aren't you taking a chance with me, Greco? You and I alone?
We will not be alone. Abdullah is in the back seat. Into the back seat, Mr. Jordan. Abdullah!
Don't shout, Sergeant, and don't reach for your gun. I have mine pointing right at you.
The voice came from the back seat of Greco's closed car, but I couldn't see the face. All I could see was an overcoat and a pistol. But it wasn't Abdullah, that was sure. He was folded up on the floor, and there was a lump behind his ear.
Get the sergeant's gun and put this whistle, Jordan.
What is the meaning of this?
I want Jordan.
Well, you'd have to get in line.
I am in line. At the head of it. Coming? Or would you rather stay with the police?
No, I'll take the change.
So, Mr. Jordan, you think you are escaping from the law? This will go hard with you.
Keep quiet and pull your friend out of the car, or we'll take him with us. Now, go on.
Yes. Yes, of course.
All right, Jordan, you drive. You better keep to the back streets, Jordan.
You still got that gun on me?
Oh, I'm a friend.
Yeah? What's the name?
Bartlett.
Well, that draws a blank. Why don't you move up the front seat so I can see your face?
It's not much to look at.
Well, how about a reason, then? Why'd you spring me from Greco?
I don't think you killed Loomis.
Police say I did.
They've been wrong before.
Well, they got a pretty good case. I was there at the time Loomis was killed. His money turned up in my safety deposit box.
Robbery? That proves my point. Loomis wasn't killed on account of money. He's not the type. He's the kind who gets it out of hatred or revenge or something like that.
Sound like you know a lot about him.
I do.
Then who killed him?
That's what I thought you could tell me.
What's your interest?
I want Loomis's killer.
Oh, I think I get it now. You spring me from the police so you can pump me for information.
It's fair. Your freedom for the killer's name.
Well, I'd say Joe Diato.
Joe Diato, huh? Could be.
He was on that plane that took off from the Cairo airport.
Where to?
He didn't say.
Pull to a stop, Jordan.
What now?
You're getting out. I'm going to drive. Jordan, I've got some advice for you. Get yourself to the nearest private airfield and hop a plane out of the country.
Maybe I will.
But don't go Joe Diato's way. He's for me.
Sorry, Bartlett. I think I will have to go his way. He's my out.
Maybe. But you're a sucker, Jordan, if you don't play it safe. Go to South America.
I don't like the climate.
Okay. But I got a feeling you're asking for trouble.
Bartlett ground the car into gear and took off. He could talk the way he did. It was easy. He wasn't up for murder. I was, and I wanted off the hook, and Joe Diato was my out. I had to find out where he went. I found a telephone and put a quick call into the airplane office.
Yes?
This is Mr. Lambert of the British Embassy. I'd like to make an inquiry about your flight 673.
Yes, sir.
You had a passenger on the plane named Joseph Diato. Could you tell me his destination, please? Official business.
One moment, please. Mr. Lambert.
Yes.
Mr. Diato had purchased a ticket for Rome, but he's not on the plane.
What?
He turned in his ticket at the last minute. As far as we know, he never left the city.
This was cockeyed. Diato had made a beeline to get out of Cairo, and it turned out he hadn't left at all. Well, I still had a chance. The problem was to find him. I went back to the airport and spent a lot of time talking to cab drivers. 40 minutes later, I hit the jackpot.
Oh, yes, Effendi. I very well recall a man of the description, that Mr. Diato.
Where'd you take him?
I took the gentleman you referred to police headquarters downtown.
Police headquarters? You sure?
Oh, yes, Effendi. I am absolutely positive.
Where's the nearest phone?
There is a public telephone over there, Effendi.
Thanks.
Captain Sam Ceballos speaking.
Sam.
Jordan, turn yourself in. You are in enough trouble already without trying to escape.
Let's talk about Joe Diato.
Oh, yes, Joe Diato.
I understand he ended up down at headquarters.
Yes, Jordan. Mr. Diato is here even now.
Well, did you get anywhere, Sam? Can you track him?
I understand, Jordan, that you are of the opinion Mr. Diato killed Frank Loomis.
Yeah, that's right.
Jordan, we have questioned Mr. Diato extensively. In fact, he kindly postponed his trip to Rome, Italy, so that we could talk to him. For your information, Mr. Diato is an agent of your own American police force who was in Cairo on special business. He was cleared by the Egyptian government's Department of Security and is in no way connected with the killing of Frank Loomis.
Now, wait a minute. There must be some mistake.
There is no possibility of mistake, Jordan. Now, I suggest you turn yourself in, since you cannot escape responsibility for Loomis's death.
Sorry, Sam. No can do. There must be another answer someplace. There had to be an answer. Someone killed Loomis. Someone somehow put his money in my safety deposit box. And suddenly it hit me. There was someone else at the bank booths. Someone who I hadn't even thought about. I was still in the phone booth, so I picked up the phone book, threw it open to the F's, and got an address on Shariaro Car. Hi.
Oh, Mr. Jordan.
Surprise, Miss Farno?
Well,
I'll come in if you don't mind.
I don't think that you...
Thank you.
You shouldn't be here, Mr. Jordan. The police are looking for you. I heard it on the radio.
I can't think of a better place to be, Miss Farno.
I don't know what you mean, Mr. Jordan.
I didn't kill Frank Loomis.
Well, the police say that you did. I don't know. I just told them what I knew about it.
But you didn't tell them all, Miss Farno.
What?
Look at it my way. I know I didn't kill Loomis. Someone else did, and so I check on all the other people in the booths. What about when they get ruled out? But then there's someone else who had access to every booth. Someone who looks real innocent, but who had a better chance than anyone. You.
Mr. Jordan.
I'm not finished. Loomis's money turned up in my safety deposit box. Aside from me, you were the only one even near my box. I gave it to you with my key to lock it up. All I had to do was turn away for a few minutes, and you could have slipped the money into the box. When the police opened it, they could easily assume I killed Loomis for the money.
Well, that will be a little difficult to prove, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, I wonder. If the police run a close fingerprint check on the packet of stolen money, I wouldn't be surprised if they found out that you handled it.
I don't know that will mean anything.
Don't bet on it, sister. All the police needs a little crack like that, and they'll drag out the whole true story. What was the Loomis killing all about? It wasn't robbery. What was it?
Frank Loomis was an awful man, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, That's right. He was a crook, con man, all around no good.
And a blackmailer.
Yeah, it figured to be something like that. Tell me what happened at the bank that you didn't tell Sabaya.
Well, I put the money in your safety deposit box, as you said. But the killing... Well, while you were in booth 1, Frank Loomis was in booth 2. I went in and I knifed him. That's all.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes, I killed Frank Loomis.
No, you didn't, Miss Farnham.
Oh.
The medical report said the knife severed a bone. Sam said a person of strength killed Loomis. A skinny little girl like you couldn't have done it. It was a man.
No, Mr. Jordan, it was not a man. I didn't...
Who's in the next room, Miss Farnham?
In the next
There's
room.
pipe ashes in the tray. Or are you the type?
I told her you were heading for trouble, Jordan.
Bartlett. Well, I guess it figured.
Don't get rash, Jordan. This gun might go off.
Why'd you kill Loomis?
Alice told you he was a blackmailer.
Only he was blackmailing you, not us.
I ran a lumber business. My books once took a little fixing. Tax evasion stuff. Loomis got a hold of them and pressed me.
Well, it clears up now. He had them in his safety deposit box at the bank. You had to get to them, so you played up to Alice and set up a robbery scheme.
No, he didn't play up to me, Mr. Jordan. We were going to be married.
You got the ceremonies mixed. It's a hanging, not a wedding.
You're both wrong. No hanging, no wedding.
What do you mean, Bart?
It's a double shooting right now. I don't need you anymore, Alice.
Bart!
What do you take me for? Do you think I have to sell myself with a mouse like you?
Bart, you don't mean that after all
It was a game, baby, only you didn't see it.
Bart, those things you said to me, those evenings at the hotel, Bart.
Well, that started her off, and as she spoke, she got a savage look in her eye and moved closer to him. Soon she had him so worried, he took his eyes off me. That was all I needed. I took a quick step and grabbed his gun arm. I tried to yank away, but I wouldn't give. So his other hand reached down to pick up a cigarette tray and made for my head, but my foot was faster. It lashed out his shin, and he howled. I didn't wait for the pain to die down before I buried a fist into his stomach and another one full into his face. He folded up on the carpet, and he was through. I picked up the gun. The telephone operator will connect you with Captain Sabaya at headquarters, Miss Farnham.
Yes. Mr. Jordan.
Yeah?
What will happen to me?
I don't know. We'll have to go downtown to headquarters. Still a few things that need clearing up. Now go on, put in the call. We'll talk about you later. Well, it didn't take Sam long to show. I told him what had happened, and Alice Farno verified it. Sam threw Bartlett into the wagon and took him in. Alice Farno and I went back to Sam's office in his limousine. Later, Sam poured a round of coffee, and we went into some of the other things that hadn't been cleared up.
What I should like to know, Miss Farno, is why you placed the stolen money into Jordan's safety deposit box.
I didn't know that it was stolen, Captain. Bart told me that Mr. Jordan was going to help him, and that the money was Bart's payment to Mr. Jordan.
I see.
Hey, about my name on the blotter, Miss Farno. Bartlett spilled the ink and took Loomis's hand after he was dead and wrote my name with his finger?
Yes.
Why did Bartlett snatch me away from Greco? What was all that song and dance he gave me about looking for Loomis's killer?
I don't know why he said that to you, except well, perhaps to keep you from becoming suspicious of him. But I do know that I asked him to free you from the police if he could. I could not see you convicted of a killing that you did not do.
Well, what now, Sam?
I suggest that you, Miss Farno, go home and rest, and we will contact you later.
Yes, Captain Sabaya. Goodbye, Captain Sabaya. Goodbye, Mr. Jordan.
Sad case, Jordan.
What are you going to do with her, Sam?
Well, I have some alternative. I could charge her with accessory to the murder of Frank Loomis, or I could simply charge her with accessory to the robbery of Loomis's money. Or I could let her go.
Thanks, Sam.
I did not say I would let her go, Jordan.
Well, let's look at it this way. I got a couple of alternatives, too. I could sue you for false arrest, defamation of character, and raise a lot of noise. Or we'll let you go.
I see your point, Jordan. Shall we consider the incident closed?
This is Rocky Jordan again. Next week, I'll tell you what happened to me in the little town of Zakazig. It's north and east from Cairo on the Delta at an important crossroads. There's a small hotel and a small graveyard. I came pretty close to being a guest in both places.
Rocky Jordan, starring Jack Moyles with Jay Novello, is presented each week through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.